Welcome to AutoCAD exercise session 2, part 2. We're looking at object snap, polar tracking, and object snap tracking. Right, so you can pull up your notes on your exercise tab and pull that up on your second monitor if you do have. If not, you could either print it out or just move between opening and closing 2 pages on your current monitor. All right, so with that, there is a template that you can actually open. So click on that. It should read Object Snap Exercise. Click on that and it should come as a read-only file. Say yes and save that to your external drive or your hard drive on your computer. And let's then get into that with starting the exercise using the functions that I've just mentioned. They are called drawing aids, or some people refer to them as drawing settings, but they are based here in your status bar at the bottom, and I briefly touched on that in the introductory video showing customization by clicking over there, and you can actually identify by clicking on them, and a little tick appears next to them where they will be shown on the status bar down here. Alright, the words to be used, you'll hear me say toggle on means it turns blue, toggle off means it's a light grey. Okay, so that kind of tells you what is currently on, and that will ultimately help me with what I choose here in my draw panel as a tool. Okay, so basically these just assist with making life a little bit more easier when it comes to drawing objects. All right, so over here you can see that that is author mode. So if you just hover your cursor over that, then you'll see that the word comes up. So that's kind of different to previous editions of or versions of AutoCAD, where you could either choose between words and symbols or icons. They now just icons, and if you hover over it, the description or the word comes up. All right, so that's ortho. That's really a good option to have on if you're wanting to draw in straight lines, going either left, right, up, or down, following the axes. And if you click on polar tracking, all right, then you can actually follow angles where green vector lines will appear. So currently I've got it on 30. I can change that either to 90 degrees, which is similar to ortho mode. All right, so if I choose line command and I pull my cursor to the right, you'll see that I can only go in the right direction, or if I pull it upwards, I go in a positive Y direction, negative X, negative Y going downwards. All right, so that's my restriction. You can actually see that I've got dynamic input on, so my hairlines are actually following my cursor, telling me what to do as either entering in a command or a value or coordinate. Okay, so if you feel that that's quite annoying, you can either switch it off. So it's really up to you what you want. Now you can actually see as I move my cursor again, it's actually telling me rather down here in the command line what next to do. Okay, I particularly like it on, so I'm going to have it on. If I move along here and I hover over this, you can actually see that that is object snap tracking. That I'll show you in a little while becomes quite useful in a sense of actually tracking where your object snaps are, and being able to either give it you'll find that there's a distance along the line, etc. So we will now look at object snap. All right, And if I just click on the little arrow going down, you can actually see that these are the identified object snaps or O snaps that allow us to draw an object with ease. So I have endpoint. That means that if I draw a line and I'm looking for either the endpoint being the start or the end of that line, we'll pick it up so it snaps to it. So it's not like I'm missing that point. All right, so that makes it a lot easier. If I hover over the middle of the line, that is my midpoint. Okay, so there's my midpoint. Okay, if I look at a circle, so I'm just zooming in here and I choose my draw function. All right, I can pick up my quadrants of the circle, and you'll see that if I just hover over it, I don't click, I just hover, it will identify the 4 points. And already because I've got my object snap tracking on, it's tracking it. So I can literally track the points, and these little green vector lines are helping me do that. All right, to line things up. There's the center of the circle. That's also quite a good endpoint. I mean, not endpoint, a snap point to consider. And we can look at some more here. So we've got endpoint, midpoint, center, which I've just chatted about. Quadrant, intersection. So where 2 lines intersect, it will highlight that intersection point. Later on, we'll look at extension, and I have perpendicular on because it will be useful for you completing this exercise. Right, if I go into object snap setting, all right, there they are there. All right, so this is your drafting settings. As I said, these are drafting aids or drafting settings, and there it is there. So you can go into polar tracking, object snap, snap grid. So that's to do with your grid down here by creating the number of spaces and blocks on your grid. I currently have the grid off, so it's not necessary for this exercise, but when you are wanting to draw, it's a useful watermark background to have. All right, so we are still over here, and you can see the ones that I have clicked on. There they are there. All right, and that just shows you what the symbol is, what will appear in the drawing, and they would be green. They're highlighted by being green. Okay, perfect. Let's just close that. Okay, so if you zoom out, you'll see that there are 5 circles, and that is the start of your exercise. Okay, so we are going to be looking at completing this exercise, but you'll see that the exercise at the end of this PDF is in color, and there are certain colors that are what can I say, highlighted, and so that being said, we need to create layers. So click on your layer properties. All right, double click, and a drop down box will appear. Now you can actually see that I've already created a circle, which is red, and you'll see that in your exercise that you've got to complete, that all circles are red, the lines are blue, and the rectangle is green. Just to go through creating layers again, go to your little, it looks like a firework explosion. So click on that, that's a new layer. And we're going to do one more layer, which is the polygon. Okay, and that is magenta. So you can click down here. So you say OK. And currently it's displayed as a continuous line. We would like to actually make this line a dashed line. So we click on line weight, continuous. we download what line type we want. So I'm just going to choose the first one and click OK. All right. What is highlighted in blue will, if you say OK, it will go back to its default. So you need to click on the dashed line and press OK. And there it is, the description of the line weight is there. Later on, we'll be actually looking at changing the thickness of the lines. And as mentioned previously in a previous video, this is then determined in grayscale when you actually print out your drawing in black and white, in paper space, and in the print of an A1 or A0, you'll see that certain lines either come out very faint, very dark in color, being more black, and some lines are thicker and thinner, or they dashed. So that's how we able to get to that point by creating them and setting the layers in this layers tab or panel. All right, so you can actually see that my tick, green tick, is on the 0. So that was my default layer. And we are actually going to make line our current layer because we're wanting to start with drawing some lines. So make that current by clicking this icon here, set current, and my line is now current. Okay, close the box. Brilliant. You'll see that it's repeated in a couple of places, so we all know that we are in the line layer. All right, select your tool, either line, or you can hover over here and just press line, and line will appear in blue, and you click on that, and now you can start drawing your lines. So you'll see that if I hover, because I have now my Osnap on, my second point on my quadrant, and the word quadrant comes up, click, pull it across. It is tracking now the object snap tracking is on, so it's created a green vector line, and it is now telling me that my second point is my quadrant. Click. Okay. To do that command again, first finish this line because you're going to move to a new point or specify a new point. So click enter, start again, press enter to continue that command and pick up this quadrant here. All right, so actually it's starting from the center. So let's just undo that. So go undo, and we're going to press line, go from the center down to the center of the circle here, click, enter, and enter again. And we got it from this quadrant here to this end of this quadrant here. And enter again. From the center going up. All right. So we've got the outer almost looking like a rectangle. Okay. Once you've got that, it helps you to move on to creating a circle. Yes, you can continue finishing your lines, but I'm just going to tell you what the next layer is, which is circle, and we are going to create a circle. So click on the tool circle, and we see that the circle is in the midpoint of this line that we've created. Click, and it says specify radius of circle or diameter. It's given us a radius, so we don't have to do anything. We just literally have to pull it out, and you can actually see that my hairline is asking me in blue what my next radius distance is. So I'm typing in 40. All right, enter. Now that I've got my circle there, you can actually see that this circle's red, and with these circles, they're still in the original or default layer 0, and I want to change those properties. So I go up to here saying match properties, and you can actually see there it says there applies the properties of the selected object to other objects. So I want all my circles to be all circles, which is in red. So I click the match properties, I click the item that I'm wanting to match it to, and you can actually see the little paintbrush moves with my pick point, and I'm selecting all the circles now to be and to have the properties of a circle which is red. Okay, and I finish that command by pressing enter. Now I have all these circles so far to be red. Again, you can create your circle by clicking the circle tool and hovering over the midpoint. Okay, now you'll actually see, if I zoom in, very close to that point is the perpendicular. All right, so what happens is that sometimes it will snap to perpendicular snap point instead of being the center. If I zoom in really close, you'll see that they are quite close to each other there. So I really want to actually make sure that it is snapping to my midpoint. So what I can do is I choose the Shift button and I right click. Shift, right click, and you'll see that this drop down box pops up. What it actually helps you with is actually choosing just this snap that you're wanting to look for. It's very useful when you are drawing a very complex drawing with many different layers, and you're actually just wanting to find a specific snap point to snap to, but it's picking up all the other snaps around it. So by clicking this, I'm overriding and cancelling out all the other snap points, okay, or O snaps. So I click on midpoint, and you'll see that when I draw the circle and I'm hovering over that line, only my midpoint appears. So a little green triangle, okay. That's quite a useful function to have. Click, pull my radius out, and again that's 40. Enter. All right. So once that I've completed that command, I can go anywhere along and all my other midpoints will appear. I'm not midpoints, my O snaps. So it just cancels all those or overrides all those other O snaps until you press and finish that command, and then you can start a new command and they'll all be there again. Okay. Right, so we are going to just switch the polar tracking on. Click the little arrow, and we are going to choose 15 as picking up angles of 15. So basically every 15 on a compass, the vector line or green vector line will appear. So if I draw a line and I just say click there, you can actually see how it is moving in. Maybe that's not a good point to just start. Let's just do it here. So if I do that at every 15, it's clicking. It's locking it in. All right. So that is with helping you track angles. So we are going to draw our perpendicular lines, and you can actually see the little symbol. It's at 90 degrees to the diamond shape that you've created now in around the middle circle. So we are going to, for those that have not done it yet, we are going to drop the little arrow down to bring up my box with Osnaps, and you will click on perpendicular. Okay, click in your screen, and we're going to choose line, and we are going to draw a perpendicular line to that diamond shape polygon. All right, so click there, and you'll see that now this is where it becomes tricky again. We are trying to look for our perpendicular point. There it is there, but you can actually see it's also highlighting my midpoint. All right, so let's practice that function again. Press Shift, right click, and let's choose perpendicular. And now it makes it easier for us to click to perpendicular. Enter, enter. Do the same with this. All right, endpoint. Zoom in if you need to, and you'll see that it's there. All right, enter, enter. The center of the circle to perpendicular, which is there. All right, so that helps you with doing your perpendicular lines. We are now going to look at using the object snap tracking, and we are going to draw the line that is positioned over here at an angle of 45 degrees. So we click line, we go to the top of our quadrant, our point quadrant on our circle, and we are going to go up, and we are going to type in 25, enter. And you can actually see it has started the first point of my, it says line specify next point. All right, so that is my start point. It's displaced or moved it with 25 mils or millimeters above the circle. Hold it now in a 45-degree angle, so you can either move along till it clicks in at 45, and you can type in the distance, which your hairline is actually prompting you to do as a distance. So we are going to make it 75 and enter, and there we go. There's our line. Okay. Let's look at doing our rectangle. So choose the tool rectangle, but before we do that, we are in the incorrect layer, so we need to drop our box down and make that layer current, which is green. Select our rectangle tool, and we are going to use the shift right click option to bring down our from. We're going to look at the Osnap settings from. So we are moving the rectangle a certain distance from the center of the circle by 50. So in a positive X direction. All right, so let's do that. Escape, and we are going to choose again rectangle because I escaped, and we're going to go there, and we are going to hover and pull it outwards. All right, there, shift right click from, click out, and offset it by 50. All right, you'll see that the starting point of my rectangle is 50 mils from the right of the center of the circle. Pull it outwards, and now it's asking you to provide the size of the rectangle. So specify other corner points, so you could either just click, or that you would know what size then the rectangle is. But the rectangle here is 80 by 40, so you use your X and Y coordinates. So you type in first the length or the width of the rectangle by the height of the rectangle, which is the y-axis. So you type in 80, comma, so 80 is the x, comma, ends that coordinate and starts with the y coordinate being 40. Enter. And now I have my rectangle in the correct location, which has moved 50 millimeters from the center of the circle here. Okay. Go to layers and click on polygon. Now that you've selected your polygon, we are actually going to draw a hexagon which has got 6 sides, and that is placed above your large circle that you created earlier on. To do that, click on your down arrow next to your rectangle, and click on polygon. Alright, you'll see that it's asking you for the number of sides, so some are 5, 6, or even 4. So being 6, we're going to type in 6, enter, and it's saying specify center of polygon. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the temporary track point again. So from the top of your circle, choosing the quadrant snap or Osnap. All right, so there it is there, quadrant. Pull that up. All right, the broken up shield appears, and you can type in or shift there, shift right click temporary. From there, pull it up. It's asking you specify center of polygon, and that is 40. All right, always say inscribed in circle because it's this radius of the hexagon. All right, oh, I have no idea why it's there, so we're going to try that again. Choose your polygon, six sides, enter, find your quadrant point, and just hover over it and pull it upwards, and then you can say shift right click temporary point, okay, now it's taken that, do that again, enter, I'm having no luck today. There, enter, six sides, quadrant, hover up, type in 40, enter, inscribed, encircle, and your radius is 25. Finally, okay, So that's what happens sometimes on AutoCAD. You are doing a function and you might have pressed enter or escape or right clicked, and you know you go down a pathway and realizing, oh, that's not the right pathway. So it's we all make mistakes. It's just a bit of trial and error. Okay, so now that you've done your polygon, we are also going to look at creating the circle that is or has a radius of 20, and that circle is on the above the top right hand circle here, and it's somewhere based over here. So to do that, we are going to choose our circle layer. We're going to go to circle as a draw tool, and we are going to type in first the radius, but you can actually see that they have provided you with coordinates 100 from the center of the circle going in the x direction, and then 50 in the y direction, and that would be this new center of your new circle with a radius of 20. So to do that, we're first going to draw our circle. I am going to introduce the move tool in the modify panel. So watch what I do here. I am going to create the circle by just clicking anywhere. So just left click, pull it out. It's saying there's circle specify radius of circle. So I have a radius, so I'm typing in 20, enter, and there's my circle. I am now going to select move, which is this button up here in the modify panel, and I'm going to click and pull down to the bottom left to select that object. I have a pick point. I press enter to close that command and move to my next command. Pick up the center of the circle, and I am going to work with the center of this circle here. In order for me to do that, I need to press shift, right click from, and click there. Alright, now you can actually see I have a orange dashed line, an elastic band from the center. So that's now my new base point, and it is prompting me at the bottom of my commands to say what is from the base point, what is the new offset coordinates. So we are going to use our x and y axes again, or coordinates. So we're going to type in what it says there. It says it's 100 by 50. So we're going to go 100, comma, so locking that in as a coordinate, and then 50. Alright. I actually have, let's see if that works. I think I didn't press the smaller than key. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So basically it has moved from creating that as a base point, and it's located itself there. Alright. Select line. This line layer, and we're going to do the next line, which is based over here, or the starting point of this line. So we are going to select our line command, and we see that it is in as a displacement from this point of the hexagon. In order for us to get the correct angle, which is 30, we go down here and we click on 30-degree angles. And now that I've selected that, it will track every 30-degree angles. So click my line, just connect to that, pull it out and type in, because it's tracking now, we are going to type in 35 because it's, my angle is at 20 there, so it's actually 30. So just make sure that you're having it at an angle of 30. It says the end point at 48 with the Pac-Man sign, which is found next to M, or for angle at 30 degrees. So pull that outwards at 35, enter. Right, so there's your start of your line, and for now you can just draw in that direction, and that will help us be able to get our next circle in position. And to do that, we then choose the circle layer and we choose our select circle command, and we are going to find the midpoint, or the mid between 2 points, which is also part of your Osnap settings. So what we're going to do is shift, right click, mid between 2 points, select 1 and select 2, and there it is there. Do you see how you get that little orange dash line? That's showing you that that is it's equally spaced between those 2 points, the middle between 2 points. The radius again is 20, so you just type 20. It's not asking for a diameter. 20, enter, and there you go. So that's showing you majority of what one can achieve with drawing aids and overriding, as well as shift right click and choosing a specific tracking point, or from points, or mid between 2 points. I hope that provides you enough information to be able to complete the rest of this exercise. Thank you.